Hello, my friends. Welcome back to another video. Today, we're gonna do something that's pretty epic. So, I've tried a lot of things recently with spawners, and I mean, the past couple of weeks have been insanely huge for spawners. The spawner community. I mean, as one of the head members of the spawner community, I'm very proud. I'm welling up with tears, guys. I'm so proud. It's like watching your children go off to college. It's like I'm so proud. My children here, my beautiful children out here, they're so successful. What am I talking about? Okay, anyways, so today, do y'all remember when I beat Nightmare Mode with just spawners and the sneaky AA turret as well? Yeah, so that's my most popular video. You know, this is pretty cool. You know, I think it's pretty cool that spawners can beat the big Nightmare Mode. I mean, that's the big one, right? Now, there's this funny little thing where if you play Nightmare Mode on Finality and do a little puzzle, you can activate a secret wave at the end of the game. That secret wave is known to be quite difficult, and a lot of people actually struggle with it. But can the spawners do it? As a matter of fact, yes they can, and I'm gonna show you just how I did it on my first try. I didn't even put in any practice or any thought into this. I just took this loadout here, and yeah, I steamrolled the entirety of Secret Wave. Of course, the towers we have are going to be Armored Factory, AA Turret, the Relic, the Zed, and Behemoth and War Machine. Of course, Relic having its new rework. It's amazing, dude. It's so good. And we have, of course, the AA Turret. This would definitely not be possible without the AA Turret, dude. Anyways, so I say we just hop right into the game. I'll give you some little voiceover. I'll explain my thought processes, what I'm doing, and overall, we'll just kind of analyze the game, sort of how we did the Nightmare video. And I'll show you how I beat Secret Wave faster than I've ever done before, using spawners. Let's get right into it, fellas. Alright, so we load in, and the first thing we want to do is obviously pick Nightmare. But, little tip, if you don't know how to do Secret Wave, honestly, just ignore the first island. Just pretend it doesn't exist, and just defend past that bridge across the lava. Just put everything over there when you're doing this map, honestly. If you do want to have G-mobs, you could put them at the front, but for spawners only, I just like to consider the second half of the map just my portion. Anyways, I start with a level 3 Humvee and get myself a little relic with some archers as well. Armored Factory, while it isn't, you know, that particularly great of a tower, is actually an amazing start for Nightmare. For some reason, and I don't know why, but the top path of Armored Factory is actually very good at defending early game Nightmare. So my goal here is just to get a level 4 Humvee along with Bradleys, because the Bradleys, while being, you know, like 38k, give me 400 DPS, and I still get to keep the level 4 Humvees, which have air detection and stealth detection, which is going to cover my early game stealth and air. In between getting Armored Factories in the start as well, I am also getting relics with archers, and I even go with wardens later on because the relic is overall pretty good to start out with nowadays. While most of the relic's power definitely lies in the last level, it's still not a bad thing to have things like archers and wardens roaming around. Now that I have my first level 4 Humvee though, things are going to accelerate. It's going to be a lot easier, especially to take down things like stealth enemies or big hordes. The archers are going to be better for taking down tankier enemies. And that is why this sort of pair between Humvee level 4 and archers kind of works so well. The Humvees kind of take care of the air and the sort of hordes, while the archers kind of clean out the more tanky units, while also being able to stop on the path, which is just a bonus in and of itself. Let's not forget as well, the level 4 Humvee respawns insanely fast. It's only 37 seconds, so I pretty much always have one on the field helping me out. Now, as I'm upgrading, we eventually reach Wave 7. Now, this is kind of bad news bananas, because usually you would need to get something a little more tanky, like a Behemoth or something, just to take care of, you know, like the sentries, so that all your guys don't die. But on this map, you are actually able to just get away with just continuing what you're doing and just getting more Humvees, getting more relics and stuff, and you're fine, because the chariot turrets actually don't affect you that much. And as a matter of fact, the chariot turrets are actually going to help me out later down the line when I need to get all of my units back. You'll see what I'm talking about when we get there. For now, I decide to just place a behemoth and just get the respawn upgrades, just so I can, you know, take care of the sentries. Maybe just push through a little bit to have a little bit more of the path on my name. There is that pilot, and pilots are pretty scary for now, but I don't even have to worry about them because the level 4 Humvees are actually so good. They're just so strong, dude. I swear, they're so good that I don't even have to worry about pilots or anything air, as a matter of fact. The behemoth, as promised and as hoped for, just completely plows through a couple of the first sentries here, and we do get to, you know, claim a little bit more land under, you know, my spawner team. But now I decide it's time for an M2 Bradley because, like I said before, M2 Bradleys have that, you know, 400 DPS and some splash, so they're going to be very helpful for taking down some of the earlier waves. And let's not forget, we're still rocking with the level 4 Humvees as well, because that upgrade does not get rid of the Humvees, so you still get to keep that nice air detection and that nice splash. Of course, we do come across some issues along the way, like some tankier enemies just taking out my stronger units, like my Bradley and my Behemoth, but that's okay, that's what they're there for. They're meant to sop up all the damage so that all of my little things can keep going. I did upgrade the Behemoth a little bit, so it's a little bit stronger at the least. Overall, doesn't, you know, do too much more until we start getting, you know, level 3 and 4 upgrades, but it'll do for now. Here I decided to get Wardens because, while the Wardens didn't really do a whole lot before, I feel like they're a lot better now. They have some more health and some collision resistance, so they do make us some good protectors for my other units. I also place a War Machine here because in the future I'm going to need to stack up some War Machines just to make easier work of Wave 20. For now, Wave 20 is my big goal. I need to defeat that in order to get to essentially the next part of the game. For now, though, my horde is looking quite amazing, and I have only used very few towers so far, and we're already looking quite good. So this map is actually quite good for spawners, I've found. I did need to place some AA turrets here. It was kind of unexpected, and I kind of forgot I had AA turret, to be honest, but you know what, it's okay. I just placed a couple of them down. They're pretty cheap, and overall we just obliterated the tankier air enemies that were coming in. Anyways, like I was saying, this map is actually kind of crazy goated for spawners because of that intersection there and kind of how the path just overall loops. If you have some spawners with bigger ranges, or if you have spawners that can, you know, stop in place, or something like the Mammoth tank that is really slow but has pretty big range, then you can just obliterate everything on this map with spawners. This wave with all of the heavy titans was a little bit annoying because, you know, it kind of took everything I had to be, you know, thrown at them in order to kind of get past it, but that's okay. The Wardens actually did help a lot here because even though, you know, they used to suck, they are doing pretty good damage, and they have that that extra 15% on the collision resistance, so they were doing pretty good there. Now, though, it's time for Wave 20. This is what we were working towards. So, obviously, I've had to stack up my War Machines in order to get some extra damage in to prevent, you know, dying to these guys. So Zeus actually got destroyed pretty quickly. No big surprise there. He usually ends up in the front, so good to get him out of the way. I did end up maxing the War Machine here, which did turn out very useful as the War Machine spawned and we're sniping Eradicator across the way there. They got Eradicator super low, and he was on 1000 HP for a little bit, but then he eventually died, so that was good. Then with Phoebus left, he wasn't too big an issue. He was just, you know, kind of had to whittle him down slowly as he kept shielding. And there he goes. Finally, he was down, so no big issues there. Now, remember what I said earlier about how the chariot turrets were actually going to save me? Well, if I walk all the way over here, I can see why the round isn't ending. It's because of these chariot turrets all the way from the start of the game. My towers never actually made it this far into the map, so we never ended up clearing those turrets. But now that we have so much time on Wave 20 after killing the bosses, we are able to wipe out the turrets as my towers have so much more time to clean up and take the rest of the path and just get a bunch of units out, basically. So hey, free comeback. I'm all on board with that. All in all, I'm pretty happy with just having a level 5 War Machine. This thing is so good for this. I mean, it does so much damage, dude. And I ended up placing a Zed as well, just, you know, to have some variety. Why not? We can include Zed into the club. I decided I was going to get some more anti-air because I really didn't want to have to worry about more air, you know, when I'm trying to actually do something. So I just decided I'm just going to wipe out the air now. With my defenses looking pretty solid, I'm pretty much set, honestly. We have a pretty good army. You know, we have a max War Machine, we have a max Zed, we have a Behemoth on its way to max level. So we were looking very, very good, and I honestly had very high hopes. I would like to remind you all, this was my first attempt. I hadn't even tried this yet. This was just a blind run through, just seeing if I could actually beat this, and I recorded it just in case I would beat it. I end up throwing down some more Zeds, you know, why not? It's more DPS that has stealth detection, so, you know, why not? It's fairly cheap to max anyways. And it was at this time that I actually realized I forgot to light the pillars to activate Secret Wave, so I started running around to do that, and it would have been really, really embarrassing if I, you know, got all the way to the end and then realized I actually didn't activate the pillars. A feeling of impending doom washes over me. See, that's actually a good thing, contrary to what you might think. That's actually what I wanted to hear. Sometimes all you need is just a sense of impending doom washing over you. It's really refreshing sometimes. Anyways, now I kind of had the big three sort of maxed out, but I didn't have a maxed out relic. Now, you might be thinking, Vendetta, isn't kind of the point of this because, you know, relic is so goated now? Well, viewer, yes, you would be right. I am kind of doing this because relic is, like, super goated now. However, I don't want to max relic yet. I know it's really tempting, and relic is super good, and I do want to max relic. I really wanted to max one, but the problem is Eradicator Combat on wave 35. Eradicator Combat is a spoiled child, and he will stop at nothing to ruin my day if he has to go out of his way and just ruin everything just to pick at me. For now, I would have to hold out whatever I can with just, you know, everything else, including this Eradicator Mark IV, which actually had me a little bit scared that he was going to kill some of my AA turrets or some of my Zeds or something. But the only thing he actually did kill was just one AA turret, but, I mean, they have rebuilds, so it doesn't even really matter. I decided I was just going to go ahead and just get some more AAs and just do my behemoths, and overall, I was going to be chilling. I decided to leave one War Machine spot if I wanted a bottom path one, but in the end I ended up deciding to just take the last spot and make another top path. Why not? I would just need it for now. When I noticed some of the air enemies weren't dying immediately, I decided I had to change that. The air enemies gotta be eviscerated instantly. They have to come out into what is basically going to be an air blender. Anyways, check out my War Machines, just, you know, circling the start here. Yeah, they pretty much jumped to Destructor instantly. It was actually really funny to watch. The VX drone coming out just told me I needed more anti-air turrets. Like I said, I gotta see those air enemies just enter the game and die immediately. They need to be walking into an air blender. On the other hand, though, when I wasn't, you know, busy trying to eviscerate everything that floated in the sky, I was also getting my behemoths maxed out. Top behemoth, you might think, is actually worse than bottom behemoth on finality, but I did test this on my marathon stream, and matter of fact, the top behemoth still does more damage than bottom path behemoth on this map, which is strange, really. I actually expected bottom path to do more, but, I mean, honestly, I'm not surprised either. It's shocking, but it's not, I don't know, because top path does so much damage, dude. It looks like even in bottom path's best scenarios, top path behemoth is still the king. Anyways, after the Destructor wave, I'm pretty much set. You know, I have all my War Machines, I have most of my behemoths, I have all my Zeds, bunch of AA turrets. We're looking good. We're just waiting for combat to show up so I can start maxing out my relics, and then everything after that is basically doomed. Relic is so insanely powerful, and that's without its best friends, Behemoth and War Machine. But since I am using things that's going to protect it from all the oncoming enemies, we're actually just going to cook everything. And with the power of a giant conga line of War Machines, we just power through the next couple of waves as we wait for Eradicator Combat to show up to the party. I also started saving my money here as I figured I was just going to need some money in order to, you know, buy some relics right when Combat died. And here he was, Eradicator Combat. I don't know why, but in-game I actually thought he arrived on wave 36, not wave 35. So he arrived a wave earlier than I expected, but that's okay. I'm not complaining. He went down pretty easily, honestly, since everything else that's with him on that wave is just flying, so it just flew over all of my War Machines, and the War Machines just had Eradicator to himself, so Yeah, it wasn't too bad. After combat died, we enter phase 3 of this, and I started saving a little bit of money because I figured I could just upgrade all the relics at once, which, I mean, you love to see that. So now I had all 4 of the Overseer Primes, and the game's pretty much over. I mean, it's pretty much over. There's like, it's hard to lose with Overseer Prime, really. So now, that was pretty much all I needed, since I have all my Zeds, all my relics, all my behemoths, all my war machines, and all my armored factories. All I could really do was just spam AA turrets, and I mean, with wave 39 right around the corner, it was definitely tempting. Now, we were actually on wave 37, and while wave 37 is usually a problem, see, Relic has this new ability where you can just spawn wherever you want, kind of like Goo Gunner's ability. Now, that's pretty broken. You can spawn a bunch of units like the Seraphs and the Wardens, and even, you know, like a Phantom Overseer. So, what's so special about that ability? Well, there's these spawn pads on wave 37 that are really annoying because, you know, you have to break them in order to stop the enemies spawning. The idea here is just to use the spawn ability right on top of the spawn pads so the Seraphs can just kill the spawn pads. I know, it's like genius. I know, I'm so intelligent, actually. Genuinely, though, that worked so much better than I thought it would, and the Seraphs actually just do so well at just getting past everything. Oh yeah, I forgot about this guy, J-Dog. He lands in and kind of just dies everywhere. A nice solemn reminder that I have all of my DPS, you know, spread out across the map instead of in just one set place. Another reason why spawners are so good is because, like I said, you have all your DPS spread out across the map instead of all in one place. So you don't have to worry about back defense. You don't have to worry about, you know, where things land, like avatars or J-Dog. You don't have to worry about that, because wherever the enemy goes, I'm already there. Anyways, so wave 39, you know, shows up, the air raid, and they probably regretted showing up because I had a whole carnival of AA turrets going, and yeah, it's safe to say wave 39 was no big deal at all. Wave 40 was here, and wave 40 isn't even that bad. There was a couple of J-Dogs along with some of the extra guys, the plane dudes, and the plane guys are actually they're very respectful. They don't go for spawners. A lot of the bosses don't actually go for spawners. Just very nice of them. So they just ended up bombing some of the AA turrets, which is whatever. They're cheap, and I don't even need that many anymore anyways. I ended up getting a bottom path war machine because, yes, I would need that soon. And here I learned that the nuclear tanks actually don't damage spawned units when they blow up. Now, I was really hoping the Overseers wouldn't waste their beam right before Alpha Predator arrived, but yeah, here they threw it away on just, you know, some random squishy enemy, which was really hard to watch. Yeah, that was pretty sad. I was really hoping we would get to use the beams on Alpha Predator, but not quite. Alpha Predator spawned, and he got ripped to shreds by all of those beams. I mean, look at this dude's health. He's almost dead, like third turn. His hammer did unfortunately kill most of the Overseer Primes, but the Behemoth decided to snap his ankles and, you know, get the first kill on him, which was pretty epic. Another W for my goat Behemoth. Anyways, yeah, he just pretty much got lasered and just obliterated from, you know, across the map. It was great to watch, actually. This was really funny to watch. Alpha Predator just basically getting, you know, destroyed by a bunch of Overseers, Behemoths, War Machines. It was great. Down he goes. He was no big deal whatsoever. He didn't even really kill anything, just a couple AAs. Now, the Eradicator Mark IIs think they can just walk into my territory. They think they can just land midway and just, you know, they have the upper hand. No, 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 no. Because, see, all of my Overseers didn't like that, and they decided to, you know, teach them a lesson. Yeah, those guys won't be back anytime soon. They learned a valuable lesson that day. So the Eradicators all pretty much died. The ones at the front, you know, the regular ones, yeah, they all died as well because, like I said, back to that thing about the spawners all being spread out, super, super handy. You have full control of the entire map. This Grumble showed up, but he got literally eviscerated in a matter of seconds by all the Overseers. Kind of a shame that they wasted the beams and didn't use them on the Emperor, but my new problem was that the Emperor actually kills all your spawns. I forgot about that from the last time I did this. But yeah, he kills all your spawns right at the start. Now, that is bad, and yeah, that's true. But it's okay because honestly, I just used the relic ability and just slowly let everything come back into play. In hindsight, I actually should have just sold everything and replaced it all. That would have been a much wiser move, but I ended up not doing that for some reason. I don't really know why. Now here, when he did this time stop, I actually thought he would just dash right past the war machine, but no, he actually landed right in front of the war machine, which was beautiful. Got an extra little punch in there. Sadly, it was only one, but yeah, that's okay. Now, here's about where I started to get worried, because he's pretty much full health, and, you know, he's close to the end of the map. And I don't know if this is true, but I've heard someone say that he kills you in one cycle on this map. So that was pretty scary, honestly. I really didn't want to die after all this on my first attempt. So you know I had to lock in. I started microing a little bit of things. I was, you know, selling and replacing all the relics and war machines and stuff. Oh, I was doing so much. My strategy was pretty simple. The minute the overseers used their beam ability, I would just sell and replace the relics. I just needed to rely on the beams as much as possible, while War Machine would just punch him back, and the whole time the behemoths would just be spamming him with a whole bunch of damage. Now, sadly, for some reason, I don't know why, but during the time stop, he's untargetable, the Emperor, so that was pretty weird. The Overseers ended up wasting their beam on some random enemy in the back, which was really, really unfortunate, actually. That actually was really unfortunate. I wish that didn't happen, but it ended up being okay. It was okay, though, as, you know, I was getting scared about losing, but we were fine because the war machines pulled out, and a bunch of mammoth tanks, a bunch of, you know, overseers. Yeah, he was pretty much screwed. Anyways, so Emperor goes down, and he gives his little speech.
Hear me, Commander. My defeat was of no benefit to the GTA. In the end, my purpose wasn't to end you, only to weaken you. For them.
Screen goes dark, and now it's time. First thing I do, first order of business, is to place all the relics. Then I place a couple of war machines, and place all my behemoths. Once I'm pretty low on money, I decide I just need to get a couple of AA turrets just to start off. This Calamity, I actually didn't even realize that, but I timed this pretty good. The Overseers just beamed him straight away, so that's like, you know, an extra million damage that, you know, he's just lost. So that was great. In the background, I just got some extra Zeds in order to pick off some of the ground enemies, and decided to, you know, keep up the AA spam game. In order to deal with that Calamity, I was going to have to get some extra, you know, ground troops. But for now, my focus was the Dark Presence. I really needed to get rid of that Dark Presence, and I knew I would have to have a lot of AA anyways, so I was spamming anti-air turret like my life depended on it. Got a bottom war machine and kept spamming AA turrets. I spammed so many AA turrets, I could not tell you. My fingers were hurting from how many I actually placed. Now I was placing a bunch of bottom path AAs in this little ring here, which was actually perfect because it's sorta like, you know, a perfect spot. I was shredding through Dark Presence like it was nothing, and that was pretty great. So Dark Presence was gone, and now it was just that Calamity. I knew the Calamity wasn't going to be a problem, so I just decided to just focus on AA turrets for now. Without AA turret, I would definitely perish, so I was going to get a whole bunch of these bad boys in order to stop the Nemesis. I mean, besides, look at this. The Overseers are just, you know, teaching that Calamity a lesson. Oh, man. I really love the Overseers for this. They're so, so good. Calamity enters light speed mode and becomes Usain Bolt, but, you know, he quickly gets shut down by that war machine and a couple of behemoths. And there she is. There's the Nemesis. So, now I have to deal with her. This boss fight is one of my favorites, for absolutely sure. I love this boss fight. It's so, so good. But with all the spawners, I mean, it just adds an extra layer on top of it, dude. Now, I realized just how quickly I was actually shredding the Nemesis. I don't know if it was because of all the AAs. I don't know if it was because of the Overseers or what. But we were just plowing right through her health bar. It was great. I decided I was just going to focus purely on trying to kill her instead of just, getting anything else. I figured I already had enough damage for, pretty much everything else that was already on the field, so I just started spamming AA turrets to the point where my fingers were hurting. It became eventually just a battle of how many AA turrets could I keep up before they could all just die. And I have never spammed AA like this. I never have. But now I know why people say that you should spam AA really, really, really hard, because this is the fastest I ever ended up killing the Nemesis. Down Nemesis goes, and that was the end of the secret wave. And here it is. So, yeah, what you're looking at now is not paused. This is footage. This is my screen currently. You can see my mouse moving there, maybe. Yeah, so this is a bug. Sorry about this, but this is a bug where the white screen at the end of Secret Wave sometimes won't go away, and you're kind of just forced to sit and stare at a white screen. The game never actually ends up ending, and there's no victory screen, which is really sucky, honestly. I did want to have that victory screen just for that extra stamp of approval, but it's okay. I mean, the real win was ending up to kill the boss anyways, but that's okay. What really counts is that we actually did it. Yes, so there it was. Yeah, I'm sorry about the white screen at the end. I know that's kind of a pain. Yeah, that does suck. That is currently a known bug where the screen just goes white and then it doesn't play the cutscenes, so the game never ends. I know you guys wanted to see the victory. I know you guys wanted to see probably little bits of the cutscene. I know, but that does count as a win. If you take down the Nemesis boss, that is technically winning the game. So there it is. We have it. We have done it. That is the end of Secret Wave with spawners only. No power-ups used, of course. I had only power-ups that you can't even use on Secret Wave or Nightmare or anything like that. So no power-ups were even used. Like I said before, I'm just so proud that spawners can do all of this. It's so cool that spawners have all of this ability to beat so many different things. It's so, so cool, dude. I'm so proud of them. Anyways, if you did enjoy this video, maybe consider joining my Discord server. We do need some awesome members because that place is pretty cool. And you'll get some exclusive leaks up to, what I'm up to, what's coming next. And you also get some exclusive pings for whatever you want to know. If you want to see when I'm going live or making a new video, you'll get notified for that. Anyways, so that's going to be it, my friends. Thank you all for checking out the Secret Wave Spawners Only video. I'll see you all next time on the TDX channel. Thanks so much for watching Vendetta, everybody. Bye-bye!